Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on a little bell on the side, so once we have all the updated news, you'll be the first one of getting all the insight. Now today's video, you probably read the title and you have clicked into this video. Obviously you want to know more about this situation, how a visa could potentially be cancelled. Now it's not a very good topic to actually talk about, but well, over almost about 20 years of practicing this industry, we have seen so many situations. So again, this video is more about not a real warning, but yes, some warning signs. Please do not step into this kind of area and get your visa cancelled. So let's go in there and have a look what sort of visa and how they could potentially be cancelled. Now, an easier way is whatever the visa you have been granted, you may notice there's a visa condition attached to it. Obviously, if you commit a criminal conduct or criminal whatever the action you have done, it's potentially to get your visa cancelled. But there's other conditions apply onto every different type of visa, and make sure you don't breach those conditions, because if you breach it, there's a certain section within the Migration Act and regulation could get your visa cancelled and remove you from and deport you from Australia. Okay, now let's go in there. This is the actual immigration web page. You may want to find this website by yourself by Google Home Affairs space cancelling a visa. I don't think anybody would like to search this web page, but anyway, let's go through it so you will have more clear idea what to do and what not to do. So overview: only the minister and delegate of visa can grant, refuse, and cancel. So you may find someone, for example, like an employer force you to do something, and they will say, well, if you don't do it, I will get your visa cancelled. Of course, they don't have the power to cancel visa, but they may indirectly get your visa cancelled by reporting you of breaching visa breaching visa condition to cancel your visa. But they do that, sometimes it's not legal to do so. We'll get into detail later on. So cancelling visa is the discretion of the department, not by anyone else. Who using this is a way to control your freedom in Australia. They cannot do that. That's actually breaching, and it's a criminal law if they do so and do that. Your employer, a sponsor, family member cannot cancel your visa. So this is very clear. It spells out in the first section of this web page. So it's just a protection for migrants in Australia. So make sure you don't get threatened by anyone in Australia in a way. So reason why your visa can be cancelled: so you may be non-compliant to your visa condition. That's exactly what I have just said previously. So you're not meeting your visa condition. You did not meet your character requirements. What does that mean? Character means you have, for example, you have been speeding so many times that, well, speeding once won't get your visa cancelled. But if you speed many times and cause some character requirement to be breached, now obviously you might get visa cancelled there. You provide false information. Okay, so there's some people wanted to, I can't get this English test done, let's just do something, copy someone else's and provide a false information. If that's been found, meaning that you are a dishonest person, and those fraudulent conduct also causing you your character requirement, then of course your visa will be cancelled. So if you're in Australia immigration clearance, you will usually be notified our intention to consider cancellation. Now, what does this mean? Now, procedure-wise, If the department wanting to cancel your visa, they cannot do it straight away. They need to send what they call notification of intention to cancel visa, meaning that if I want to cancel your visa, I need to let you know I'm about to cancel a visa, and you will have the right to respond before I cancel your visa. And that's how procedure works. So that's making sure each side is fair, because sometimes the information received by the department might not be correct. So they need to rectify and verify by you responding back. Maybe you have something else to say. So it's just making sure justice in a fair platform. That's how that works. So obviously, if they have sent a notification to intend to cancel, and you responded back with information provided and still not meeting the requirement, meaning that they are still concerned that you have breached the visa condition, then of course the next letter that you receive from immigration will be notification of canceling your visa. Okay, now a character ground, it's pretty straightforward. It's basically that you have been this criminal conduct being confirmed, you've been sentenced to 12 months or more imprisonment, or convicted in the charge of person have been found guilty in sexual-based crime involving a child. So child means in Australia anyone is under 18. You have 28 days to make representation why you think your decision to cancel should be revoked, and we consider circumstances in case basis. Again, that's exactly what I have just explained. They will send you a notification of intent to cancel, not to cancel straight away, and you have time to respond back. Now, there's other people who are on the working visa, especially on TSS 482, employment sponsor, or 494, employment sponsor visa. Some agent might come out and say, look, you pay for your employer and they will sponsor you. Now this is a criminal conduct as well, so we might cancel your visa if involving paying visa sponsorship. Now that generally occurred when the employer is potentially your friend or your close relatives, and that's why in the immigration regulation they are not allowed close relative or friends to actually be sponsored within a work visa, because they consider that as some sort of like cheating as well. If you initiate complicit in paying sponsorship, intend to come forward, whistleblower active providing us information, we may not cancel your visa if your payment were due to threaten or exploitation. So they may be employer come in and say, look, we're happy to get you to a permanent resident, but look, you provide this fund or you work for us for additional whatever it is, then you can actually report this employer to the department. But again, that doesn't say the department will give you permanent residence straight away. So it's still, you see, the problem. We do not proactively promote employment sponsor visa, but as long as the employer is genuine and you have the genuine job there, that's good. But if the relationship is not genuine, then of course that will cause those kinds of issues. Anyway, now going down to student. Now obviously student visa can be cancelled. So what are the circumstances that your student visa can be cancelled? You may cancel your student visa if you're no longer enrolled. So for example, you have agreed to come to Australia to study a university course for 3 years, but you study 1 year, you found out that that's not something I want to do it. I want to go out to work. For instance, some people do that and they forgot to pay the money, continue on their study and enrollment and commencement of the next semester. So obviously the institution or university will notify the department. Department will know, whoa, this someone is having student visa but not actually studying. Then of course your visa will be cancelled. Your enrollment ends when your completion of the course, even if the earlier the end date on your confirmation of enrollment. What you must do after completing your course depends on your enrollment arrangement. If you complete course of which visa granted, you will have 3 months to depart Australia or apply for another visa. Generally, if you complete a course, you apply for the graduate temporary visa. So that's a subclass for 8.5, so you can continue to work. And that's another way to skill migration, which a lot of people will know anyway. If not, you need to leave. So you'll complete the course, and if you do not leave Australia for another 3 months, obviously you become unlawful, and that's not good. That's another issue. You change your course, and since you granted a visa, your new COE and principal course has earlier end date, and you do not leave Australia, apply for another new visa. And again, that's generally, if you change your course, your duration of study may change as well. So it will be wise to renew another student visa. Obviously, that's another cost, yes, but if you don't do that, the matter, a lot of international students just don't care much, and then once they see the circumstances worsen, we've been through so many of these cases, then again a lot of issues there. You study more than one courses and you finish the early one, and between the courses there are more gaps and you didn't study anything. Of course, that will become an issue there. So why is there a gap? You cannot have a gap there because you're a student visa. You cannot use a student visa to exploit the right to actually work in Australia. That's another, again, that's breaching the intention of the whole visa that the government wanted to give to you. So before your visa get cancelled again, they will send you a notification of intent to cancel, and you will respond whether you legitimately finish your course earlier and your good academic records and what's happening. Why is there a gap? Oh yes, because there was a pandemic, all the school closed because you cannot do face-to-face, blah blah blah. If you have relevant information to provide it supporting your claim, of course your visa will not be cancelled. Okay, now coming down to biosecurity. Now this it's a weird part. I haven't seen really anyone being like this, because you'll be deported straight away. So if you come to Australia like travel visa, whatever the visa you're coming in, and you bring in something that is not lawfully that you can bring into Australia, and at the airport, at the custom, serious pest, disease, agricultural, tourism industry, whatever that is, and drugs, for example, okay, then obviously you have big issues at the airport, and you probably will be deported straight away rather than cancel your visa. Your visa will be canceled within minutes at the time of you're at the airport. Some people coming in, they found out they are coming in not to study and they actually looking to work. That will also have problem there. Importation or objectionable goods. So again, drugs, crime, cruelty, violence, whatever. Well, obviously weapon, if you bring in, I'm not too sure how you can actually do that, but they do have law like this. So what happens if your visa is cancelled? Cancel your visa, it might also bar you from further visa application, prevent you from being granted certain visa. So that is the one that we call the PIC 4013 and PIC 4014. You'll be barred to actually apply another visa within 3 years. Obviously, you can waive that out unless, provided you have the supporting document to, to go over that claim. Okay, so you cannot do anything. It's a very serious matter, and obviously there's other way. If you if you're a visa refuser, cancel character ground, last arrive. The only thing you can apply for is a protection visa. So, well, that's very hard too, because if you're not in Australia, how do you apply for a protection visa? So you might need to come into Australia illegally again, but that's I don't think that's gonna happen. That's gonna be very hard. How do you re-enter Australia while you cannot apply for a visa and apply for a protection visa? And what is the purpose of applying protection visa while you're not in Australia? Who is gonna protect you? So that again, that's a very hard situation. For example, wartime breaks out. Okay, you will cancel your visa. You get deported back to, for example, in this circumstance nowadays, back to Ukraine, and of course war broke out. So you need to get protected. You got a relative in Australia. then at that point in time, of course, then at that situation, you can apply for protection visa. But other than that, I don't think you can actually do it. It's not possible to reach that kind of status. Refuse a protection visa. You can't apply for protection visa again if you're refused. What does that mean? If people are thinking, if you're a refugee, why would you be refused? Now, look, they are people lodging protection visa knowing that they are not refugee. So if that visa has been refused, of course they are not allowing the applicant to apply again. So you cannot do it double time. They are not allowing these people to continue using application of protection visa to legally stay in Australia. So that's basically what they're trying to do. Request a visa cancellation. We generally do not advise for people to do that. Because if you got visa cancelled, well, you spend money, you got your visa. Why would you request a cancel? Because you got cancelled, you got problem. You may end up in those kind of category of. We do not actually promote that kind of situation. So anyway, once you get visa cancelled, if you are in Australia, you have a right to appeal. So that is going through the administrative appeal tribunal. Obviously, that's a merits review. If you're not satisfied about this, you can go further on to judicial review, and that's way off the topic of what we got to discuss today anyway. So let's wrap this up. There are so many type of way that Australian government can cancel your visa. It depends on your visa condition, and that depends on what sort of visa you actually hold currently. So make sure you do not breach those visa conditions, because once it be cancelled, that's very costly, because you need to get a lot of legal advices, and writing those legal submission costs you a lot of money. And if that doesn't go through, you get cancelled. Well, that's another problem anyway. Should you have more question or query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below. And I'll see you next video. Goodbye.